we've shared our introductions. So let's see. All right. So like to begin our session with the departmental attributes, so you get a sense of what you'll learn as you engage with us, focusing on the development of literacies. We'll talk about disciplinary literacies. You'll see that some of these are from your undergraduate program as well. All of our practicum courses focus on your responsive teaching to support students to become strategic learners, knowers, and thinkers. We'll always address the standards. We'll talk about the next gen standards, as well as the ILA, International Literacy Association, standards for literacy coaches and reading teachers. Let's see, assessments of literacies, database decision-making, and literacy is a social cultural practice. So how do students bring their funds of knowledge? How do we honor, welcome, and invite families into our communities of practice? Critical literacies and equity, a clear thread, as well as respectfully representing students, families, colleagues, and the communities we work and teach in. So you'll learn a ton about materials, resources, and lots of digital technologies. Our focus is always on student engagement. How do we engage our learners? And we'll do this through a range of collaborative learning communities. So that gives you a bit of an overview about us. Check out our departmental website. And Alyssa, you do send copies of the slides after, or they should take a photo of this if they want the departmental website. While we're waiting for that response, you can like us on Facebook and follow the School of Ed on Twitter. So we have a really nice social media presence. So you'll want to take a look at that. All right. So when you're seeking teacher certification, for initial professional teacher certification in childhood, special ed, and literacy specialist, we have special ed and literacy 2 program. So they walk out with 3 certifications. And we'll move on to MS in reading because Tina, you said you were interested in this option. So MS in reading, you may complete the degree for professional certification if you hold an initial, or for students who are pursuing other careers, no teacher certification is required. If you choose this option, it does not lead to teacher certification. All right, and
oh, sorry, if I can just jump in, I just want to mention that program is a great option for someone in Tina's situation who might still be working on earning initial, if you're really close, or if you're working on like connecting a certification from out of state to start that program, because the certification isn't required to start. So that it's a great thing that you're looking into that program.
Awesome. All right. So how to obtain professional certification. For those who already hold an initial, and Gabe, you said you hold an initial, and Hannah, sounds like you do as well as Kylene. So for those of you who already hold an initial teacher certification, there are 3 steps to obtaining your professional cert: your master's degree in an approved program, 3 years of teaching and mentoring. So you are given 5 years from when your initial was issued to complete those above steps. And Risha, you're going to make sure if there's anything to add, do that. All right, initial teacher certification in the same area is a requirement for MS in early childhood, MS in childhood. Initial teacher certification in any area is a requirement if you're interested in the MS in reading. All right, and via New York State Ed certificate progression pathway. And all of those are 30 credits. All right, literacy certification, your second initial certification and your professional certification. So initial teacher cert in an area is a requirement. So for MS in literacy, birth to grade 6, grades 5 to 12, and then birth to grade 6 and 5 to 12. We say B12, it's actually 2 programs. So birth to grade 6, grades 5 to 12 are 30 credits each, and then B12, 36 credits, with the B to grade 6 and grades 5 to 12. So there are some new literacy certification regulations. So New York State did recently change their regulations for the certification in literacy. They have now eliminated the grade band, so what they're going to move to an all grades certificate. So that before it was B6 512, now it will be all grades pre-K to grade 12. So we will be restructuring our programs in response to these new regulations. If, however, you graduate prior to 2026, then you would be within the B6 and the 512 if you choose. So certificate in the grades specific areas will remain valid throughout your career, and you will have the option to pursue the all grade certificate. It's not necessary as long as you complete it within the time before they close the programs. So keep checking the School of Ed website for updates to the program and the certifications we provide. Alyssa, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
Nope, that was perfect. I think that's all. Unless anybody does anybody have any specific questions around this? Okay, great. No.
All right. So additional certification exams, because New York State loves for you to take certification exams. If you enroll in the MS in Early Childhood, or MS in Reading, you do not need to take an additional certification exam. If you are in the MS in Literacy, you will need to take the CST. And by the way, our students do really well on it. So that's great news. All right, initial certification requirement. We'll get all of the certification things out of the way first. By New York State regulations, admission to our program does require initial cert. As Alyssa said, the MS in Reading is a great option because while you're finishing things up, it's a great program to apply to. And if you're missing any requirements or need to complete an exam, we may admit you as a conditional admit. And then prior to registering for your second semester, you'll update us, let us know how it's going and the status of your certification. And if you need to have you do need to have your initial certificate completed before taking more than 12 credits. So that's an important piece of information. All right, so how do you apply? Here we go. You'll want your transcripts. Transcripts are required from any of your institutions where you completed more than 12 credits. And unofficial copies are accepted for review. Once you're admitted, you have to send along official copies. 3 letters of recommendation, at least one from a previous professor, instructor, talking through your success as a student. Let's see, application questions. You'll complete all the questions on the application. Please take your time with your written responses. We read them really carefully. We read them thoughtfully. There are 2 members of the department who will review your application, minimum of 2 who will review your application. For what you say, also to learn how you express your thoughts in writing. This is a literacy program, so we want your thoughtful, intentional, and careful responses. Be clear about your goals, your experiences, and your identity as a literacy learner. So review. As I just shared, each application is reviewed independently by 2 faculty members, where we assess each candidate in multiple areas: academic performance to date, your subject matter knowledge, your pedagogical knowledge, teaching skills, and academic writing. So we'll see those on the transcript, we'll see them in your letters of recommendation, and we'll also see them in the way you respond to the questions. So you may be admitted, conditionally admitted, or denied. Students who are given a conditional admit have until the completion of 12 credits, as we said in the earlier slide. Eligibility for online. So sometimes people decide they want to take the online MS in Literacy rather than the on-campus version. So to be eligible for the MS in Literacy online program, you must be a teacher in a district with permission from your administrator to tutor students in your classroom after school. So that's a commitment that your administrators sign on to and say, yes, you can complete your practicum courses. Those are after school. Families engage with you, and we have a really robust online program, and families appreciate the online tutoring that you'll provide. So you'll need to have access to several different age levels within your elementary school for B6 or middle school students if you're in the 512 program. We do not offer the MS in Literacy B12 program online. You will take online courses, but the entirety of the program is not online. So program components, taking online courses. So when you join our department, you may take some courses that are synchronous, where you meet the same time each week via Zoom, or asynchronous. So we had Oneonta and New Paltz. I'm not sure. Well, I know everyone in the SUNY schools transitioning to Brightspace, so maybe some of you have experience with Brightspace. That's our asynchronous platform. And time and location flexibility when there's asynchronous. Something to remember, our online courses are seminars. You'll interact with your peers throughout the week. Our online courses are not independent studies. So there are expectations for the number of times you'll sign in each week, number of discussion posts you'll engage in, and that will all be clear in the syllabus. So program components for practicum courses. If you're a campus-based student, the practicum experiences are part of your course. So generally we have the students, you will tutor at the beginning of the course, and then you will have your seminar experience. Oh, here comes Sarah. All right, so practicum experiences are part of the course. You'll meet at a local elementary school where you'll teach students for the first part, then you stay at the school for the lecture portion. So our schools and school districts, Abram Lansing and Harmony Hill in Cohoes, Bratt Elementary in Mohonasen, Eagle Point in Albany City, and multiple schools in the South Colony District. So we have lots and lots and lots of wonderful options for that. If you are an online student, the practicum experience, you'll either video record them or conduct them via Zoom during after-school hours at your school. So students will need you'll need appropriate technology. And then online students are responsible for arranging the practicum with students in their building, again, with permission from your building. We have lots of protocols all set and in place, and the forms, and you just fill those right out. So let's stop and pause for a moment and see if we have any questions just yet. Because let me see if we have any questions just yet. No, keep going. All right. Transfer credit form. If you've taken graduate credit at another institution and you want to transfer the credits to this degree, you may request the courses to be transferred. You'll need a few things to do that. All right. If you use those graduate credits towards your undergrad, they're not admissible. But the earlier you complete the transfer credit form, the more likely it is that you won't take a course comparable to that. Might decide that you want to use it as an elective. So be sure to include the course description and your syllabus. You must have both of those with your request. And we can take up to 6 credits towards your master's degree. We talked about the department. Well, actually, we began with the departmental attributes. Those are a framework for your studies. We discussed the attributes in each course, and the culminating experience, the culminating milestone project, is the AFRE. It's the attribute focused reflective essay, and you will write that paper to conclude the program rather than take a comprehensive exam or have a thesis requirement. All right. And now we'll move to questions. All right, Risha. I think you're on mute.
I am, yes. I think that there is also some specific questions at the end.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We had some really good questions at the end, but let's start with what we have here.
But if you do have a question that you really don't want to discuss with everyone in this forum, please feel free to send me an email at any time and I'd be happy to talk through your questions.
All right, let's see. What questions do we have? I'm gonna keep scrolling. All right. Are international students able to apply? Risha, I'm gonna give that one to you.
Yes, to the MS in reading, but no to the other programs. So the MS in reading is an option for an international student. It just won't give you teacher certification in the States.
All right, can someone who doesn't have the initial teaching certification start the program? We talked about that the MS in reading is the best choice to begin the program as you are working to complete your initial teaching certification. How'd I do with that one?
Pretty good. I would just elaborate in that you can also start in the other programs as long as you are in a teacher prep program now. So if you're in an undergrad institution where you're getting your initial, but you haven't maybe taken all of your exams, you can apply to the childhood or early childhood programs and be accepted. You just have to make sure that you get them all within the 12 credits that you're taking in the master's.
Beautiful. Can I be admitted if I hold certification from another state? We often have students who have certification from another state while they are working on their New York State certification. So.
And also some people will just, they don't plan to teach in New York State. We still have students that will apply to the childhood or early childhood. And as long as they have a certification from that state, you can be admitted into our programs. And you're just in the what's called the non-certification program, which is basically the same program, except that we're not telling state ed that you completed it because it's not necessary. With the MS in literacy, you do have to hold New York State teacher certification.
All right, would I ever be able to transfer from the MS in reading to the literacy if I got a full-time job? Yes. And if that's something that you are interested in, you're going to tell your advisor straight away, and we'll set you up for the courses that will put you on that path, if that's a path you're looking, that you think you might wish to be involved in. All right, can we still apply and start a grad program if our initial teaching certification is still pending? And we believe we have said yes multiple times.
Yes.
All right, good. How many weeks do the courses run? So we have full semesters, and we start in end of August and then finish early December, late November. So they are the traditional 15-week semesters, although we rarely have 15 full weeks. But yes, so they are traditional semesters.
In the summer, the majority of the courses are 12 weeks.
12 weeks, yes. We do have some intensive compressed courses, but those come later in the program. All right, you want to take the GRE?
We do not require any additional exams for admission.
Grants and scholarships. We have scholarships within the School of Education. Our students do very well in receiving the scholarships. So that is definitely something you want to pay attention to. You'll let your professors know you're applying for the scholarships. You'll have them write recommendations. And then we have a beautiful April 28th. We have a beautiful ceremony in the spring to celebrate all the students who receive scholarships. Can you transfer credits in childhood education? Yes, we went through the transfer. You can transfer up to 6 as long as it meets the criteria listed with the transfer courses. Cost and payment options. You want to do that, and then I'll do the good essay. I'll do that. I'll close with that one.
You want me to do cost payment?
Sure.
So, yeah. I don't like to say this because it changes. So what I usually do is tell students to go online and to go to student accounts pages, and it is all listed right out there. Exactly what the tuition is, as for online and on campus both. I do believe that they have financial aid offers, or student accounts offers a monthly payment. I'm pretty sure. If you do want financial aid, such as loans, or if you need them, you do need to take at least 6 credits a semester to be eligible for the loans.
Which leads to the next questions. How many classes do we take each semester? That's very much going to depend. A couple of things to remember. We are the Department of Literacy, Teaching and Learning. So your courses will have lots of reading and they'll have lots of writing. So we recommend if you have a brand new teaching position that you take one course a semester. We do recognize that you need 2 courses if you are looking for financial aid. So then you want to talk with your advisor very carefully about the 2 courses you take. So thinking what will work best with your schedule. And so we recommend 1 course a semester if you have a brand new teaching position, 2 courses. If you're full-time, 9 credits will be full-time, and 3 credits, that's a lot. So we'll keep you very, very, very busy. All right. How do we do with that? Anything else you want to say in terms of advising?
No, that was good.
Is the entire program online, or are there courses that meet on Zoom? So most, there are a lot of classes that are asynchronous, and the capstone, if you are in the B6 program or the 512 program, the capstone practicum is a Zoom synchronous course, to let you know that with the online. And if you're on campus, then you're on campus with your learners, especially in the summer. So we have a beautiful summer where we watch them thrive and grow within the capstone practicum. So what constitutes a good essay response? I would say specificity, specificity, specificity. So name your experiences, name your interests, name what's influenced you as a literacy learner. So just be very specific, answer the questions in thoughtful, intentional, and purposeful ways, and make sure you have someone take a look at it and you edit carefully when you turn in your responses. So those are my best recommendations for a good essay response, as I listen to all of the things that folks say as they talk about responding to the applications. All right, I'm going to stop the share since we've answered all the questions and come back to what questions do you have? You can put them in the chat. You can unmute and go ahead and ask the questions.
I have a question for the how many credits are each class hold, or how many credits does each class hold?
3 credits, except the capstone courses, those are 6 credits.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Right, other questions? All right, then, well, we're going to say thank you very much, and we hope we see you in the future, and we'll look forward to your application, and we'll look forward if you have more questions. So Alyssa posted information in the chat. You can ask her questions. Risha, yes, you are eligible for scholarships if you are a part-time student. Absolutely, great question. And Risha and I are also happy to answer your questions.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all very, very much. Have a great afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Take care.
For your night.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your semester.
Mhm.
Take care, everybody. All right. All right. Take care. I think the recording ends when we stop.